So, you've got a new album out, your third one.
Hmm.
So, what's this one all about?
This album is about sort of that old school peace and love, really. There's a running theme of gratitude. Practicing saying thank you. There's a running theme of generosity, and it just sort of tapping into your own human experiences and trying to have the best life experience possible.
So, what the title? We sing, we dance, we steal things.
Well, I read that title somewhere years ago, and I thought that it would make a brilliant album title. And when I was working on this album, I thought, well, it's a sing-along, danceable record, and we steal things. Well, my favorite way to look at that is looking at this sort of divine energy that activates us all and makes our hearts beat. And luckily, we don't have to think about making our own hearts beat, or else we'd be very busy. So it's an energy that we live in that we don't have to acknowledge or plug ourselves in at night. It just happens. We dwell in it, and therefore I think we steal from it.
I must say, I really love the positivity in your album so far.
Thanks.
Have you stolen anything for real? I mean, since the title is as such, are you a kleptomaniac? I don't think so, right?
No. When I was a little kid, though, I used to steal no smoking signs from restaurants and hotels. Don't ask me why, but I found a box at my parents' house a few months ago that was full of "thank you for not smoking" or "there's no smoking here," and all these different, designs and signs. And I don't know why I used to take them, but it was something that I would steal all the time.
But it's ironic because you did smoke in the end, right?
I did for a while. Yeah, I smoked in my 20s for a while, and I don't know why I was doing it. It was just it was a youthful klepto problem.
Did you have a muse when you were working on the songs for this album?
I did have a muse, actually. I had quite a few resources. I would always rely on local friends and family and community to sort of help me see and feel who I am. But I did have one pen pal who lived in New York, and funny enough, I met her while in Singapore, and she was on her way to Hong Kong.
No way.
And we became pen pals, and it was through our writing and then me reading her blogs constantly that would always give me an outlet and always give me sort of a relationship to fuel from while I was writing songs. Because throughout the conception of the album, I didn't have a girlfriend, and I really didn't want to invest my time in a relationship. So having this young woman's blogs and her relationship online, it really gave me a great place to go when I needed that sort of feminine yearning.
So what's your favorite track? I know you're going to say you love all the tracks, but what's your favorite one on the one if you really had to choose?
If I really had to choose, I'd say A Beautiful Mess. It's the last song on the album, and it's because it's a song that represents both sides of the story. It looks at someone for all their qualities, for their dark side and their lighter side. There's a song I wrote years ago called Life is Wonderful that is just about that, how it takes one to have the other. And A Beautiful Mess sort of is that same theme, but focusing more on one person. And I always love singing it. It's a great range. It's got great emotions and highs and lows, and it's a favorite.
How about the most emotional song on the album for you?
The most emotional song on the album is probably Love for a Child. I love performing it live. It really gets us a real soul and almost a heartbrokenness to it. We love playing it live, and it always gives me goosebumps.
It's about your parents breaking up, right?
It's about my oldest memory of my parents being together. I mean, both my parents are fantastic people. They both have their own families and raised me in each household and were great. But when I think of them together, back when I was about 3, 4, and 5 years old, they're vague memories of sort of them coming to an end, and that's really what the song is about for me. And it's saying that I'm okay with it, and that I did have a great upbringing, and that the reason they did it is because they did love us and they wanted us to have a better childhood.
I mean, having gone through it, for people out there who are going through the same thing, their parents are maybe having, deciding to break apart from each other, what sort of advice would you want to give them? Well,
it's that the children shouldn't take it personally. There are, all people seem to fall in love and fall out of love. We are each on our own individual human experience. And every so often, that means that the people need to go their separate ways because their hearts are calling them somewhere else. So don't take it personally. In fact, be supportive of each parent and remind the parents to be honest with themselves and to each other. Rather than fight and argue and make it difficult, just be honest and be proud that each person knows what it is they want to do.
Okay. Let's do the love questions. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'll go easy first. Who's the one person you never get tired of hanging out with?
Oh, Bushwalla. He's my roommate. I've been buddies with this guy for 13 years. We met in college, and we're juggling partners. We're writing partners. We surf and boogie board together. We work in the garden together.
In the garden?
In the garden, yeah. We have a great garden outside of our home, and he's just a super friend. He's the guy that I can go to for anything, and he always makes me laugh and keeps me grounded.
And how many times have you really been in love?
How many times have I really been in love? Oh, wow. Probably 100, but I'm gonna say just one, in case my girlfriend is listening.
And how old were you when you first got into your first relationship?
I think I was 19 when I first started dating and found myself, dating the same girl for about 3 years after that.
Wow, long relationship. What's love to you?
Love is honesty and really being present with someone, meaning when you're with them, you're listening to them, and you're not analyzing things, that you're not judging in any way. Love is not about spreading gossip. Love is about, being honest and respectful. And being real, exactly.
Are you seeing anyone at the moment?
I am seeing someone at the moment.
Oh, the ladies are going to be disappointed. So tell me, what do you think, in your opinion, is the way into a woman's heart?
The way into a woman's heart is, wow. That's a good question. I don't know the way into a woman's heart. I do my best to be honest, and I use music, really. When I start sort of dating a girl or interested in a girl, I use words and music.
So you serenade her?
I do a little serenading, but I'm a big fan of writing letters. Because I feel like I can say more. Like, even right now, I might stammer, or my speech gets a little slow or tongue-tied. But if I'm allowed to write letters, poetry, and keep the correspondence that way, then I feel I can express more. And I also say that because I travel so much that I have to rely on letters. So.
Do you have a motto when it comes to love?
Motto when it comes to love? It's not always easy, but it is simple. I love that motto. Yeah.
Nice. What is the one thing you wouldn't do for love?
One thing I would not do for love. Well, I don't think I would commit any crimes. That's for sure. I would not.
So anything but crimes?
Yeah, anything but crimes. I'll pretty much do anything.
You won't hurt someone else?
But I would not hurt anyone else or hurt animals.
Yay! Let's talk about you being a raw foodist.
Okay.
Which means you eat only raw and unprocessed food.
Yes.
So what's a typical Jason Mraz meal like then?
Well, I eat a lot of fruits and vegetables, and I eat a lot of nuts. But like today's lunch was a wonderful salad, and then I cut up an avocado. I try to eat an avocado or two every day. It's like one of the best foods a man can eat. I start every day with a superfood smoothie, which means it's got every green you can think of, even avocado. It's got banana, goji juice, hemp protein, bee pollen.
What's goji juice?
Goji juice. It comes from the goji berries. what is the goji? It's like the Himalayan little red berries, super nutritious. And so it's really just a simple diet of raw and nutritious foods.
Do you miss any food at all? Like, I don't know, steak?
Well, I miss ice cream a lot, but I will tell you every now and then I go and have ice cream. So I'm not strict on the raw food diet. It's just that's what I prefer mostly.
And how do you get into it?
I got into it because I had a couple of friends that were great at it, meaning they really knew how to prepare the foods in a way that it wasn't boring. It's not just salads all the time. It's how to really make it a super salad. Like, you wouldn't believe what goes into these salads and how they taste after you put a little spice into it. But a band member of ours wasn't feeling very well, and it was getting to the point where it was almost critical. So we decided to switch up the diet, and the raw food diet was really the best thing that ever happened to him. And so I sort of partnered up with him to make it a little easier.
That's
and I just kind of got hooked on it.
And you talked about avocados earlier on. You own an avocado farm in California.
Yeah.
Was it like a business opportunity that popped out, or was it like, I love avocados?
Yeah, I love avocados. I originally moved out to where I live because I wanted to live in the wilderness, and it just so happened that all the trees were avocado trees, about 25, 30 years old. So, we pruned them, and they're all growing back now and looking great, and they're producing lots and lots of fruit. And, all of our neighbors, everything, we all are avocado farmers. And so we all look after each other and help each other out. And
Will we ever see a brand, Jason Mraz Avocados?
I don't think so. All the avocados that come from our farm usually end up at the market that go then to restaurants, local restaurants. And, we live in Southern California, right on the border of Mexico, and guacamole is served in just about every dish and on the side of every meal.
Nice.
So there's a real need and a love for avocados down there.
How about this thing that I read online, this vegan dessert that you make? It's called chocomole or chocomo?
Chocomole. So it's like guacamole, but it's chocomole. So it's made entirely of avocados. You add a little bit of date and agave nectar, a little shot of vanilla, some coconut oil, and all those things sweeten it up. As soon as you put in a spoonful or two of raw cacao, the whole thing turns chocolatey. And you can serve it after dinner, and everyone will think they're eating the most decadent raw chocolate mousse, but really what they're eating is the most healthy avocado-based pudding.
Are you ever going to put it up on your website or something so you can share the chocomole?
Chocomole. Actually, if you go to my blog right now at the MySpace and my Freshness Factor 5000 blog, and it'll soon be on jasonmraz.com, you can see a step-by-step how to make it.
Nice.
I have photos that include the whole process.
You're very passionate about
Yes,
this
I
chocomole.
am. Well, a lot of people ask about it.
Let's talk about the rooster as your symbol. Why the rooster?
Well, years ago I adopted the rooster as my power animal simply because he wakes the world up with a song. He's sort of the first guy up in the morning. And at that time, I was making a transition in my life into touring and into working a lot more. And I wanted to become a morning person. And I wanted to wake up every day bright and early with a song in my heart. And so
Did it work?
It did work. And I love mornings now. And it took a while, but I got there finally.
I understand you have 2 tattoos. One, which is a rooster on your lower back, correct me if I'm wrong, and one on the right side of your chest that says rest area.
Yeah.
What's the meaning of that rest area tattoo?
Well, rest area is a place of rest. If you need a place to lay your head, then my shoulder is one that I welcome.
Oh, very sweet.
Yeah.
And when do you get it done?
Oh, probably 4 or 5 years ago while in Japan. And it's funny that the tattoo artist, he only spoke Japanese, and he desperately wanted to write rest area in Japanese, but unfortunately I don't speak Japanese.
Right.
And most of the people I interact with in the States don't read Japanese either, so I said, no, I insist on it being with the sort of New Roman sort of letters, characters.
I understand you're a cat lover. Do you have any? What breed are they?
I have a little tabby cat. His name is Holmes, and he is one of the most friendly and lovable cats who's super curious. Whichever room you're in, that's where he's going to spend his time. So he's great. He's just a nice little peaceful companion.
Are you going to get any more cats? Do you have any other pets?
I do want to get Holmes a friend. Holmes originally had a brother. They were twins when I got them. And one of them sadly snuck away from home. And where we live, there's hundreds of coyotes lurking in the trees, and so,
crap.
yeah, unfortunately, I don't think the cat really survived. But we never saw him again, so who knows? He could be on an adventure somewhere.
Or maybe he could be on the next farm.
Yeah, he could be on the next farm, indeed. What else? I do hope someday to have a little doggy, but I need to spend a lot more time at home to raise a dog.
So you've been on a road a lot. What's the one thing that you hate most and you love most about touring?
Well, the one thing I hate most about touring is that you rarely get a chance to become a part of a community. You get to visit communities and spend a little time and interact when you can, but some places we really are only in a city for about 12 hours. And that can be a bit frustrating. You're always living in a suitcase. But at the same time, touring is great because you do get to see the world, and by the time I get home, it all comes flooding back and I go, wow. Did I really just visit 22 countries? Did I really just meet that many people? And you come home with all kinds of new gifts and insights and stories and words and pictures, and it really is fascinating.
What is the weirdest thing you've ever received from a fan? Panties, bras, I don't know. No weird stuff?
We don't get too many weird things. Although, no, I did just 2 days ago. When I
here in Singapore, right?
No. When I was just getting ready to leave Korea, and someone handed me a box, and they said, "Here, I made this for you. I'm a designer." And when I opened it up, it was a horse head. It was a rubber mask horse head, but then underneath that were some homemade shorts, and they were crazy. Each side of it was made out of something different, whether it was a T-shirt or a piece of quilt or some other kind of fabric. But what struck me was that not only were the shorts weird, but it came with a rubber mask horse head. And there was no letter to explain what it was about. So, but...
What you going to do with it?
I love it. I've actually been wearing the horse head in my hotel room and dancing. And the other night, our saxophone player came out with the horse head on and did a sax solo as this horse. It actually looks a lot scarier than it is fun, but we like it.
Okay, last question. Anything you want to say to your fans out there?
Oh, I'm just so grateful that I get to travel here and share my music, and I'm grateful that people are really adopting the messages of peace and love and gratitude and generosity. So please keep singing, and hope to see you soon.
We hope to see you soon as well.
Thank you.